I'm ready. What up? Let's get to it. So I want to talk about the Kwesi Kevin O'Connell presser, their most recent press conference. Let's get into it. Let me just get right into it, man. First thing they were asked, Kwesi was asked about the stock market. How does he compare to Vikings? Where would they place in the stock market, etc. But Kwesi said they were kind of in the middle, in the middle of it all. They have the potential to be good. They did some great things. On the other hand, they have a lot of work to do, right? Have some things to fix. But bottom line, they're still in the mix no matter what. They're right there in the middle, man. They're very close to being good, being great, putting up good numbers. But they have the work to do heavy. Shout out Kwesi. Ed Donatel, they didn't really answer the question. That was kind of irritating. Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi were more talking about how they will evaluate the situation, look at the pros and cons, look at what needs to be done, look at personnel, just evaluate and see, what changes should be made or should not be made. But they really never came out and said if Ed Donatel will be fired, should be fired, etc., etc. I wish they would just come out and say it. Understand as coaches, as a GM, it's tough to just come out and say a guy is gone or say he will be gone or say, yes, he's fired. He did a piss poor job. I guess it's part of the game, but I would much rather them come out and be real, right? Say, yes, Ed Donatel is gone. He was one of the main problems, not the only problems. Of course, it was problems with personnel and issues with some players, older players, slower players. But bottom line, the scheme was horrible. But it is what it is. I'm sure that firing will be coming soon in the future. They were asked about tough decisions on letting players go. Kwesi said it'll be different each and every year. It's tough decisions. It's not easy. Every year it will look different. But I'm sure Kwesi understands who should stay, who should go. Yes, it's tough decisions. It's part of the job, man. It's part of the process. It has to be done, right? They were asked about the scheme. Kevin O'Connell said he had to fix it. Asking about the defensive scheme, how so many yards were given up, points. Versus the little Giants, not just the Giants, but all season, right? So Kwesi said, yeah, he's responsible for the schemes. Even though he's not the defensive coordinator, he is the full coach. He is the head coach. Everything should run through him, right? He has control. He should have control of the whole team, bottom line. So bottom line, he said it has to be fixed. He will go look at things that need to be fixed, revamp things. That's all he can do. It is what it is. They were asked about shifting to the 3-4. What did the roster look like? Roster evaluation. That's what the answer was, How was the roster? They have to evaluate the roster, seeing which guys fit, which guys don't fit. And bottom line is, they need more speed, man, period, bottom line. That scheme, that 3-4, they did not have the personnel. Probably should have been in a 4-3. But once again, Kevin O'Connell took full responsibility. Got to respect him for that. He talked about the draft class. Kwesi said it's ongoing development, which is true. You can't judge, hit or bust off of 1 year. You got to give time. You got to give guys time to develop, at least 2 years, 2.5. They had injuries with Lewis Seen, Andrew Booth. Two guys I think could potentially be good players. You have a Caleb Evans, solid player until the concussions came. So you can't judge the draft class off of 1 season. Now, next year comes along, if guys don't produce, if guys don't play, develop, if they're not developed right, then you can say, hey, it was a bad draft, but you have to wait at least 2 years. It's some promising talent on the Vikings, Like I said, the cornerbacks rookie class, if they can stay healthy, you got guys on the D-line, linebacker Brian Asamoah was brilliant. So you still gotta wait and see, man. Can't make a judgment off of 1 year yet. Too soon. Let's see. They asked about the salary cap, issues, etc. Veterans have to be let go. Once again, Kwesi said that's always a tough decision. But that's decisions that have to be made, man. Yes, it's a tough process. It's tough letting guys go sometimes who are fan favorites, but the Vikings need cap space. They need to create cap space, right? So bottom line is it's time for some guys to go, man. Guys like E.K. Harrison Smith potentially, man. The Vikings need more speed on the field, man. They need more quickness, younger athletes, etc. No disrespect. It is what it is. You can't always be friendly. You can't always keep fan favorites around. Some guys you have to let go. It's part of the business. It's part of, regrouping. You dig me? Developing. being good. They say Super Bowl is the ultimate goal, right? Well, you have to bring the personnel in that can get you there. The Vikings need more speed, younger talent. Maybe a tough decision, but it is what it is, heavy. So salary cap is an issue, will be an issue until the Vikings solve it. But veteran players will have to go. Kwesi was asked about, was it a still competitive team or a rebuild, or both? Kwesi said it was both. You know, he talked about how they're still competitive, but they're still rebuilding. He talked about bringing TJ Hawkinson in, how he's part of the rebuild, but still competitive. A guy who put up good numbers, is a promising player for years to come. I mean, the Vikings competed, man. Definitely was competitive, but the Vikings are still in rebuild mode in some areas. Linebacker positions, cornerback positions, man. Offensive line. So it's players that need to be brung in to make the team better and players that need to be let go, man, to free up cap space, etc. So it is kind of a competitive / rebuild. The Vikings still need new talent, but they still have enough good talent to compete. But they're trying to get to the Super Bowl, so you know it's going to be tough decisions, man. You're going to see guys come in who can contribute right away. Some guys would have to be developed. But this is a competitive rebuild. Can it work? Possibly. But they have to make the right decisions quickly and swiftly. Kevin O'Connell was asked about Kirk Cousins. Said he was pleased with Kirk, excited for him, you know. Said Kirk will lead the charge, basically. All right. So if Kirk's going to lead the charge, that's going to be difficult, man. I feel like I'm over Kirk, man. I spoke up for Kirk, vouched for Kirk. I feel like he showed who he is once again, man. I feel like Kirk is who he is, and that 4th and 8 proved it. But Kevin O'Connell was the head coach. He believes in Kirk. I hope he plans to get weapons around him. I hope he plans to get O-line protection around Kirk Cousins, because that's the only way that you can possibly win with him, especially in the playoffs, man. Kirk Cousins is not an improviser, right? He is not a top quarterback. An elite quarterback, you know what happens? And elite quarterbacks make that 4th and 8, tries to scramble, at least throws it past the sticks. But if that's Kevin O'Connell's guy, it is what it is. But I hope they bring the necessary tools in to protect Kirk. Because without them, it's a wrap. Heavy. I'm over Kirk, man. You're going to see more videos coming. I feel like Kirk should go trade him, let him go, whatever. Do what you got to do. I no longer feel like Kirk will get them there, man. He showed it once again. He reverted back in the most important time, in the most important situation. The season was on the line, and Kirk folded once again, period. But KOC says that's his guy, so that's the bottom line, man. Kwesi was asked about the Jefferson contract. Kwesi responded, there's really no problems. Those are good problems to have. Champagne problems, he said, to be exact. And yes, that's a good problem to have, man. Having to re-sign a guy, pay a guy who's the best receiver in the league. But it becomes a problem if you can't get a deal done. And they need to do that quickly and swiftly. Oh yeah, they need to get that done quickly and swiftly in a hurry. Don't let it linger. Don't let it go on, man. Seal and deliver it. Get Jettas in the building for multiple years. Get it done. But Kwesi said, no, that's not a problem. It's a good problem to have, if anything. Bad. Let's get it. SKOL. Kwesi was asked about what he learned, you know, during the season, during his first year, the process. He learned a lot. He said, when you involve people, makes it more difficult. He said he's kind of a behind-the-scenes guy, not up front, don't like to be in the public, which is cool. But that's part of the territory when you're a GM, right? When tough decisions are made, right? It is what it is. Now he has to figure out how to make the team better to reach that goal, Super Bowl, period. They were asked about the roster needing to get faster, which Kevin O'Connell said yes. When you have speed, you can create space. It puts you in better situations. Everybody knows the Vikings need more speed. Everyone knows players got exposed, linebacker position, defense, etc. The Vikings need more speed on the field. Kevin O'Connell knows that. It's no secret, man. Speed kills, speed wins. We see it now in the playoffs, dog. Heavy. Kwesi was asked about the 11 one-score wins. Can it happen again? What does it mean to the team? He basically said the situational part is repeatable, but you never know if you're going to win or lose 11 one-score games, you know? He said the same thing could happen next year. But he said they did play great situational football, which Kevin O'Connell wanted to do coming in. He said he wanted the team to be better in that aspect of the game, and that was a goal accomplished. But you don't know the outcome like of next season or how many close games you will be in or if they will win or lose one-score games. Every season is different, man, every year. So it is what it is. Kwesi was asked about the draft class, how he has less picks. He basically said they can still have good talent, man. Like I said previously, you have to wait, see how it pans out, see how guys develop and play next year. But there's some guys with potential talent on the team. He also said it's always ways to create more draft picks. That's not hard. We've seen it in his first draft. A lot of trades, traded down, traded up, etc. They were asked about the defense. Basically said they must evaluate the situation. They should have said they must fire Ed Donatel and get some faster players in here. But they said they must evaluate the situation and see ways they can make it better. They said they must figure out why it happened. Whose fault was it that happened? We know the deal, man. We know what it is. Once again, they can't just come out and say, oh, we're going to fire Ed. It's his fault. It can't just come like that, Fans, we can, right? Content creators, but of course they got to say it a certain way, which me personally, I wish Kevin O'Connell would just come out and say, hey, Ed has to go. The defense failed us, but it is what it is. I'm sure he has respect for Ed, Maybe even feels bad for him that he has to make the decision, but that's part of the business, man. Defense was horrible. Scheme was horrible. Then finally, last but not least, basically bottom line, they said they got to get better in every aspect, and that starts now. Through the whole offseason, up until the guys are back for off-season program, etc. But both Kwesi and O'Connell realize they got to evaluate themselves, look in the mirror at themselves and their coaches and personnel. So that's the bottom line, man. But overall, a great press conference. I think they both realize the talent they have on the roster, the talent they need to go acquire, what they need to do, the steps they need to take going forward. But once again, I think the Vikings are in good hands, man, for years to come. And they will get to the Super Bowl. Kwesi and O'Connell, two great leaders, man, in my opinion. They've shown that their first year in. Now they got to progress and get better, which I'm sure they will do. Learn from their mistakes, Kwesi and O'Connell, and go back to the drawing board, man, and get it done. Two smart, intelligent individuals. Two good guys, good humans, man. Let's get it. So that's my take, my opinion on it, man. Kwesi and O'Connell's presser. I love it, man. Excited for the off season. The work really begins heavy. Big SKOL head. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. It's much appreciated. Oh, me. Oh, me. I ain't got no picture, you hear me? SKOL like that. Heavy.